Well, Marty, I guess fall's just about here. The water in the pool's getting cold. The air's getting cooler. The leaves are falling. I put my creepy crawly away, which means this fall that presidential campaign will sure be heating up. But you know, I can't believe the huge amount of attention that Donald Trump is getting.
Do you mean Donald Trump?
I do, Marty. Wait a second. What? I didn't notice you brought your sax in today. That's great.
Yeah, I know. Everybody needs a little sax now and then, Frank, so I went ahead and brought mine so I can have some sax today. By the way, Frank, how can the American voters take Donald Trump so seriously? I mean, really? Have you ever seen a bigger boozer in your life?
What? But Marty, Donald Trump doesn't drink.
Boy, I tell you sure could have fooled me. I mean, have you seen those white patent leather loafers he wears? And those hats? I bet they were all bought in a shopping mall in New Jersey, and I'm gonna guess, dollars to donuts, that they were made in China. Great. That's just great. It's huge. Huge. Fantastic. Wonderful.
That is a very good point, Marty. A really good point.
If you ask me, he looks like a big loser. And, Frank, he might also be a little bit light in those loafers, if you know what I mean. Right?
Roger that.
Well, Marty, there you go again. Mr. Trump is just the latest Republican, bought and paid for by the Koch brothers. Hell, they buy everybody. All those radio and TV hosts, Slanthead, that lard ass in Florida, they all think they can be me, Marty, Ronald Reagan. Well, last time I checked, I'm the only one that I know of. No, Marty, Mr. Trump is just the latest failed attempt by our corrupt corporate news media to put lipstick on a pig. For what, Marty, the 14th or 15th time? Thinking that we would notice. Well, Marty, I'll tell you somebody that did notice. Nancy told me this morning in the shower, she says, Dutch, I've been thinking about that Mr. Trump man. You know, I think he's, how'd she put it? I think he's very thin-skinned. And I think he's bloviating. And then she said, Marty, I think he's a bully. Well, I wasn't quite sure what to say, Marty, but I did say, well, hon, I'll tell you what, they're all failed imitations of me, just like the rest of those conservatives in that clown car running for president. Don't you agree, Marty?
You're not on, Mr. President. I know I cued you, but that was my mistake. But we do have you scheduled for a little bit later on, so if you want, you could wait in the green room. There's coffee and donuts in there, and it's very comfortable. So, just one thing, and by the way, could you tell Nancy that she forgot to mention that Mr. Trump is also an orange-skinned misogynist, I think. Yeah, misogynist, okay? Thank you, Mr. President.
You're right, Marty. Mr. Trump is a huge misogynist. Yep, he is. I think Donald Trump is very mean and very disrespectful towards women. It's never a nice thing to do, ever, is to be disrespectful or mean towards, girls and stuff. Never. So I just thought they would throw that in there. It's never a nice thing to be either mean or disrespectful. I'm just saying. You're right, Marty. And I'll tell you what else isn't a very nice thing. It's our corrupt corporate news media's assault on freedom of speech, the truth, while allowing censorship in America, especially on radio and television. Marty, it is completely out of control. And the saddest part is the American people are being brainwashed and manipulated into voting the same people election after election, thinking they will represent and protect them. Well, Marty, these are the same people that are taking away their homes, sending their jobs overseas, taking away their food stamps, their benefits, cutting back on education, and if you're a minority, they'll soon be taking away your right to vote, while at the same time polluting your air and your water. How is that even possible, Marty?
Yeah, and they all vote for Republicans that are bought and paid for by the Koch brothers.
Oh, Marty, yeah. You must be referring to the Koch brothers, right?
Yeah, that's them. And they're not very nice guys. Even if they want us to believe that they really care about America. You know, like running those baloney ads on TV, and on Sunday, all those Sunday programs like Meet the Hacks.
Oh, Marty, you're not talking about Meet the Press, are you?
I don't think it's Meet the Press, Frank, because there aren't any real journalists or members of the press on there anymore that are doing their job. It's just all the same conservative opinions now. And they don't have any contrary opinions on there at all anymore. It's kind of sad. Very sad.
Yes, contrary opinions, Marty. That is the perfect word for it, and something that's definitely missing on radio and television today. Why, did you know that 20 years ago there were 54 different owners of radio and television networks in America? But then that was a time when our government thought it was a really bad idea for just a small group of people to control everything that we saw, read, thought, while at the same time trying to manipulate what we did think and what we viewed. Kind of a novel idea, isn't it, Marty?
So do you mean like a really bad idea or a really bad thing? What do you guys think?
Well, I think both, Marty. Do you remember that group of 54 owners we just mentioned? You know, the 54 owners that controlled all the media outlets in America? Well, after Bill Clinton signed the Telecommunications Act of 1996, that group of 54 got whittled down to, how many do you think?
49?
49's a good guess, Marty, but no. No, that group of 54 got whittled down to just four. 4 corporate owners who control every media outlet in America. Every one. So much for letting the marketplace work its magic. Right, Marty?
Whoops. That means those 4 contaminants control everything. Right, Frank?
Do you mean conglomerates, Marty? Well, you know what? I like your word better. Contaminants, yes. Those 4 contaminants are now in the business of brainwashing the American people. And you know why? Because they don't think the American people can think for themselves or resist their corporate message. Well, I've got news for them, Marty. They're wrong.
So you mean so they can take away food from kids and families? Take away Medicare benefits and pensions from our veterans? Make us work longer hours and work till we're 72 years old while taking away our health care and Social Security too? Well, those are the same jerks in Washington that are against paying someone a living wage and against paid time off and paid maternity leave, while they get 135 weeks of paid time off for a part-time job. Boy, that's a pretty sweet gig, Frank.
Yes, Marty, you're right. You would think someone would be outraged, wouldn't you? I know you're outraged. I know I'm outraged. When are they going to be outraged?
But that's not the worst part. They also want our pensions and our 401ks, so they can give that money to a bunch of Wall Street thieves who will use all that money to their own benefit. Then they'll ask for a bailout when all that stuff collapses around them. Meanwhile, all their profits and bonuses will get shipped overseas, so they don't have to pay no taxes. Meanwhile, all the peoples who were counting on those benefits they worked their whole life for and earned, well, that money will be gone forever. And they'll lose everything, Frank. Boy, what a country.
Yes, Marty, I think you've really captured the take from the poor and the weak and give it all to the rich agenda. And that's exactly what the Koch brothers bought and paid for elected officials in Washington and every state in the Union have been doing for the past 2 decades. Well played, my friend.
I think that's criminal, Frank. I tell you. Does anybody know about all this stuff? Do they?
Well, not enough, Marty. And that's the secret our corporate media doesn't want you or me or the American people to know anything about, or resist them planning it and pushing for it. Wow. What a bunch of nice guys, huh, Marty?
I think we should tell the American people about it. Right, Bob? Right, Howard? Oh, yeah. Definitely tell the American people. No question about it.
You know what, Marty? That is a damn good idea.
You know, Frank, that is a good idea. In fact, it's a damn good idea. The only problem is, so what do we do now?
Well, Marty, let's start by listening to the radio and watching TV, cable news, and see who these people are that are spreading this corporate agenda nonstop, 24/7, on just about every outlet you can imagine. Well, Marty, these are the same people that are being paid to do this night after night. They say the same things on the same shows, sometimes 2 and 3 times a day, Marty. And what are they doing? What are they really saying? Well, you know what they're doing, Marty? They're reading talking points by people like the Heritage Foundation and the Koch brothers and Alec, all these people that are paying them to tell you how to think. More to the point, Marty, they're teaching us how to not think, which is the problem. So, Marty, what we're going to do, we're going to resist. And we are not going to listen to them, and we are not going to be manipulated by them. We're going to take the bull by the horns, and we are going to show them a thing or 2, or 3 or 4, or 54, or 4. Because, Marty, it's time for action.
Yeah, like in case we miss them and their hair extensions and bad toupees the first 400 times they were on.
Hello and welcome to the Mental Health.
So let me get this straight, Frank.
If you are obsessive-compulsive,
After an extensive search in
or
America,
codependent,
like The
ask someone to
Voice
press 2 for
and
you.
The Bachelor
If you have
and
multiple personalities,
The
press
Jerry
3,
Springer
4, 5,
Show,
6. If you are
these
paranoid, you know
cretins
what you are, what you want.
these
Stay on the
shows
line and we'll trace your call.
are the only
If you're
peoples
delusional, press
they could
7 and
find
your call will be
to
transferred
lie
to the mothership.
or be a
If
bully
you are schizophrenic,
or be
careful.
totally
Small voice will tell
politically
you which number to
ineffective.
press. If you are depressive, it doesn't
Or
matter which number you
they're
press.
just horrible people who hate our president so much. That's just not very nice, Frank, I'm telling you.
Apparently so, Marty. You know what? They're just not very nice people. Unlike you, of course, who are very nice. In fact, you are the nicest person that I have ever met. And, of course, your family, so makes it even more special. But, you're right, Marty, those people are not very nice. We are not going to listen to them manipulate us anymore. right?
What, Frank?
So Marty, now here's what I'm thinking. To all those political pundits, all those political strongmen, all the people out there with the money shaping our country, the Supreme Court, the past Citizens United that made corporations people. Well, I'm telling you, Marty, as they say, corporations are not money. Money is not free speech either. So for all those people on radio and TV and television, all the people we have to listen to telling us how bad the president is, how bad Hillary is, how bad the world is, well, they completely can't even talk about their own damn party. Well, Marty, I'm telling you, we are not going to listen to their lies and their untruths anymore. And for all the fake and phony people out there, we are going to challenge you on your lies. We are going to hold you accountable for the things you don't say. Not for what you say, because we know what you're saying, but we'll hold you accountable for all of the things that you censor, all the things you don't let the American people know about because you're being paid not to tell them. So Marty, for all those people, and to those same broadcast owners, those 4 corporate, well, you know what, broadcast people, no, those 4 people, those corporate owners who control everything in the world, you know, Marty, I think we have something to say to them, don't we?
Yes. To all those corporate broadcast owners, please consider this video and its contents a copyrighted, brutally frank, and frankly brutal audition reel for your consideration and future deployment as political analysts and commentators on radio and television and the internet. Frank and I, Marty Hubble, will always tell the truth, and we will make others do the same. Thank you, and now enjoy the show.